On the day he became sultan, before the crown had even settled on his head, he gave one quiet order, and 19 of his own brothers were strangled to death before sunset. The oldest was 11. Some were still infants. And the most terrifying part is that every single person in that palace knew it was coming. His name was Mehmed III, and what he did that day was not a crime. It was the law. Welcome to Dark History Files. Subscribe now, because this story gets darker. The Ottoman Empire was the most powerful empire on earth, stretching from North Africa to Eastern Europe, from the Arabian Peninsula to the gates of Vienna. But behind the gold and the glory was a secret so brutal that European ambassadors who learned about it refused to believe it was real. Every time a new sultan took the throne, his very first act was not to celebrate. It was to kill every brother, every half-brother, every male relative who could theoretically challenge his rule. Strangled with a silk cord because Ottoman tradition demanded that royal blood never touch the ground. Buried with full honors because they were still princes. Mourned publicly while their killers sat on the throne their deaths had just secured. This law was not written by a madman. It was written by Mehmed II, the brilliant sultan who conquered Constantinople in 1453 and turned a crumbling empire into the most feared military force on earth. He had watched his empire nearly tear itself apart through civil wars started by competing brothers. He had seen what happened when two princes both believed they deserved the throne. Thousands dead. Cities burned, enemies laughing at Ottoman weakness from the outside. And so Mehmed II made a calculation so cold it silenced every advisor in the room. One death is cheaper than a civil war. He wrote it into law and called it the law of fratricide. Legal, binding, permanent. 4 generations Ottoman princes grew up knowing exactly what their future held the moment a brother took power. They ate, they studied, they played, and they waited. Some tried to flee. Some begged. Some accepted their fate with the quiet dignity of men who had always known this day was coming. None of them survived. When Mehmed III took the throne in 1595, he executed 19 brothers in a single day. 19. Their mothers screamed from behind palace walls and were powerless to stop it. The silk cords were prepared in advance. The executioners knew their work. By the time the coronation feast began, every potential rival was already in the ground. What makes this story truly unforgettable is not the brutality, it is the logic. These were not evil men making monstrous choices. These were rulers making impossible calculations in a world where weakness meant destruction. Every sultan who signed his brother's death warrants understood exactly what he was doing and did it anyway because the empire demanded it. The throne was not just a seat of power. It was a contract written in the blood of everyone who stood too close to it. If you made it to the end of this video, then you already know why Dark History Files exists. Subscribe right now because the stories coming next are even darker than this one.